Well, it's been a long day, a lot of content that I've gone through. In fact, I did learn a lot of things around how banking industry is shaping and what people are thinking, what innovations are going on. The most interesting part was the 2006 Times Magazine video or picture that the keynote speaker showed. Who remembers that? Do you guys recall it? What is that? Yeah. It was all about you, right? The Times person of year was you, right? That's very interesting. Back then I don't think even I was looking at what's happening in the industry. But the point is, that's exactly how things have changed and evolved, and that you has magnified, and that's exactly where the world is going. When I say you, it is basically the consumer, the user, we who are accessing. Look at our lives, how they've changed, right? Food, taxi, mobile phone, payments, right? I hardly carry any cash now, right? It's always the phone. I sometimes forget my wallet. Earlier, I used to go back home to pick it up. Now I just walk away, right? I have the mobile phone to do everything. That's how our lives have changed, and that also has made us impatient. So you look at Instagram, you take Facebook, we all are impatient, right? Scroll up, scroll, scroll, scroll. We want those data, information in seconds. We want transactions to process in seconds. When I'm booking a taxi app, the transaction takes more than 2 seconds, I'm frustrated. I go to Ola, right? Ola is slow, I go to Uber. That's how people are shifting, and that's how the consumer thinking is going. And it's not me, it's you, right? Everybody is doing that, and you would agree to it. Anybody disagrees? No, right? Yeah? Answers no. Does it make sense? Yeah, right? So basically, that's driving innovations. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about, some part of it, right? It's driving massive innovations in everything, every space. Who had heard of loans being processed on an app, right? I have a problem, I go 2 clicks, I get it in my bank account. I have done it. So that's how things have changed for me. That's how things have changed for a lot of users. Now, while this comfort has come to us, where's the stress? Stress is for you bankers, right? For you people who are building these solutions for the consumers. Stress, your infrastructure is growing. You're not able, I mean, when I say you, basically all banking industry, right? Infrastructure is growing. Transaction speed is growing. Concurrency is growing. You're losing out customers when your app is slow in your app store, right? Like I said, people switch. They go with comfort, and loyalty has become very big, challenging, and costly affair for infrastructure. So modern applications, the way they are evolving, is changing everything that we are doing, right? Well, from IT infrastructure to what we want to do, how we want to treat our customers. The customer experience becomes primary. So, like I said, can't wait customer versus you can't have delayed analytics, right? You want to give your customers brilliant experience, but at the same time, you want to understand what they're doing so that you could upsell, you could draw more revenue out of them, help them, right? This also brings the stress. I think we all heard these points from morning: fast apps, APIs, massive data, mobile apps, right? Enabling fast dashboards. We call them fastboards. Basically, all of these points are becoming very important for any industry or any banking financial services organization. Any 1 second delay in app, like I said, the moment there's a cab booking delay, I'm frustrated, I go to another app. It's the same thing that happens in anything. And there's a research that, in fact, Google had published a couple of days back or years back. Any 1 second delay in mobile phone or mobile app costs almost the conversion rates by 20%, right? And it's not only conversion rate, it's also the usability. So if your app load times or your analytics load times or any user experience is slow, it affects almost 17% for the revenue, right? And the difference between a fast solution and a slow solution is 78%, right? So you have more business on a fast application, fast dashboard than a slow dashboard or a slow app. The key attributes that define these modern applications are fast, interactive data experiences that we have heard. A lot of speakers today speak about it, right? How experiences come into a picture. Access to real-time data, like just the panel before me spoke about how there's data coming in from variety and volume, velocity, right? You're getting data in videos, you're getting data unstructured, you're getting JSON, you're getting time series data. Ability to scale, right? Before pandemic, it was 100 transactions. The same solution has 1,000 transactions now. After pandemic, digitalization accelerated, and that helped a lot of organizations grow, but it kind of stressed their underlying systems. Handling any data, like I said, unstructured, structured, relational, resiliency and recoverability. That, if you have read, a trading app had outages 3 or 4 times, their user base increased by 10, 20%. That's a huge thing, right? To acquire 10, 20% user base, they spend millions of dollars. And 2, 3 outages, customers move because they're scared of losing out on opportunities because of that. Frictionless developer experience. You can have a brilliant solution or front-end app. If your developers have challenge or nightmares to deploy new code to it, then you will never be able to optimize or bring in new changes to your application. So when I simply summarize this, right, any modern application has the requirement of having super fast ingestion. We are talking about, like, if Aadhaar, whatever the panelists spoke about, automated data sharing, automated authentication. This is high-speed data coming in. So if you go to a shop and you want, or a bank, you want to validate your identity, imagine you waiting there for 10 minutes. Right now, you're okay because the 1 hour process becomes 10 minutes. But over a period of time, that 10 minutes will start frustrating. And that's exactly what is fast data ingestion. And low latency. When you want to get, I was talking to a couple of guys who came to our booth. Everybody wants to optimize their revenue share, and the best optimization is upselling to their own customers. What does that mean? You get your customer behavior. You want to work on that quickly, understand what the customer wants, and recommend. That's exactly how the upsell. Imagine you do it after 4 days. Does not make sense, right? You need to do it at the point that the customer or consumer is using. And high concurrency. Like I said, after pandemic, the adoption has gone high. That means every app has millions of users now. And that creates extreme stress on the underlying systems. Historically, what I've seen enterprises do is, you take an app, you use a relational database, build the app, you bring batch data into it, you bring operational data into it, you bring JSON data into it. They don't support, so you add up another JSON database to manage JSON data. Then the apps become slow. Architects realize, oh, let's bring an in-memory database. So they brought in an additional in-memory database. While it supported, then came the unstructured. I want to do a full text search on all the comments that the users are giving. Of course, these databases don't support. Let me bring in an Elasticsearch to do it, right? A full text search. I want to bring in time series data, the IoT data sets that are being captured. Of course, these databases don't support. Let me bring in a clickstream database to do that. Great. I want to run all my AI/ML models. I bring those models in. These databases are extremely slow, right? You have to put together data from 4 or 5 different databases, process your AML. No matter how brilliant code you write, it's slow. What does that mean? Your recommendation goes to the user after 4 days. And when you want to really solve the problem, all right, let's consolidate completely into a cloud data warehouse or a data warehouse and see how we can address it. But basically, you're setting up another solution on a problem, but not solving the underlying problem. This is exactly what we thought 10 years back as SingleStore. So I didn't specifically talk a lot about SingleStore in the beginning because I wanted to give you a perspective of where we are, right? As SingleStore, we realized this is a bigger challenge in the future as analytics, transactions and analytics will converge. And when that starts happening, these architectures start failing. And that's exactly what we are seeing in the enterprises. So the whole idea is to get rid of these old ways, which cost you increased complexity and costs, increased latencies, and multiple points of failures, right? Which is pretty obvious from that architecture. So the ability to have a transactional database that can support transactions, batch data, transactional operations data, can support JSON data. You don't need a secondary database. Can support in-memory, right? You don't have to put 2 separate databases for transactions like disk-based and in-memory. Ability to have it in the same platform. Optimizing your application. Ability to store unstructured data and run full text search, right? Not having an additional database for it. Ability to run IoT data sets into the same database. The whole idea is how the convergence of relational, IoT, time series, and unstructured makes it brilliant capability for the application to drive a lot of adoption, right? The whole idea is you don't have to, again, consolidate it. Sorry, the clicker is very slow, so I'm getting lost. The point is you don't have to further consolidate the whole thing into a data warehouse or a third-party database, right? You have a transactional database that is supporting transactions at high speed. you can run your analytics on the same database and run your recommendations in milliseconds. That's exactly what our customers have been doing it, and that's exactly what we are kind of supporting multiple fintech and banking and financial institutions across the globe. The whole architecture of a single database converging transactions and analytics enables you to get rid of unwanted database sprawl, right? We call it as a database sprawl, where you have different databases storing different data sets, and you spending hours together doing ETL processing and time, right? You have a simple platform, get rid of all those unwanted databases, and make a super fast charged modern application. SingleStore is a unified database for both transactions and analytics. You can bring in transactions, you can do ETL, you can do change data capture, you can bring relational databases, you can bring geospatial, unstructured, and all of these things accessible to simple ANSI SQL. So ODBC, JDBC, that means you can run your BI solutions, run ad hoc reporting, run your AML queries, and deploy this on simple bare metal Linux VMs or Kubernetes, right? We also have a fully managed service that's available on cloud that enables you to get your cloud adoption rapidly and kind of go to market with new apps very fast. SingleStore can be 100 times faster at 1/3 the cost, and this is what we have given to our largest customers across the globe, enabling them with a super fast database and enabling them to build modern applications. Right. We have grown rapidly for last 10 years. The only thing I want to highlight on this slide is the analysts that I've rated as highly. That's not only the case. Our customers who adopted us 2 years back came back and invested in our company, thinking, like understanding what growth potential and what product and problem we are solving. And all of these are from banking and financial. So if you guys have some time on the booth, I can share who these are, who these customers are, and give you perspectives as to what they are doing. We are powering some leading applications for the BFI sectors. There are crypto exchanges using SingleStore for transactional database, accounting, financing platforms, wealth management, right? High-speed security analytics. We are talking about credit card transaction fraud. We are talking about building payment solutions, analytics, various use cases. While I talk everything, the only thing that I can prove myself is from our customer use cases. So these are certain customers that had adopted SingleStore early and saw some great results. Like Ant Money does a lot of payment processing. They had 60% improvement in their data freshness. IEX Cloud is a data aggregator. So we just spoke about how APIs are being adopted rapidly. They run 2.5 billion API calls a day. That's huge, right? So that's the kind of load that SingleStore is supporting. They started with MySQL, got stuck. Within 3 months, migrated to SingleStore. Bitwire is the crypto trading platform that I spoke about. They run 1 million orders per second. When I say order, it's both buy, sell, transaction. So that means it extrapolates to 4 transactions per order. So that's the size of load that we're doing. I had a demo to close this out so that I give you a perspective, but unfortunately, it didn't work. I have it on the booth. My colleagues are there. We are happy to show you the demo and help you understand how we could support you. The last thing that I want to leave is, I spoke about modern apps. The main reason is one of the banking organizations that had a high HNI wealth management app had really bad reviews. Whenever the HNIs opened the app, it used to take them at least 10 seconds to populate their own data, right? That was creating a massive drop in the user base. They went ahead with SingleStore. Now the user recommendations of the apps are highly or pretty high, and everybody is kind of happy about the speed. And their app now opens in less than 500 milliseconds. That's the speed that we are talking, from 10 seconds to 500 milliseconds. That's what I had. I think I'm concluding before a minute that I had. I'm happy to discuss more and further, and I didn't want to bore you guys with a long presentation. I hope this short one was nice. So thank you, everyone. I will see you in the booth if you guys have time.